Capture the Flag, Chapter 15. Welcome back on this Monday morning. I hope you guys had a great weekend, that you got outside and you had some good family time and you relaxed. Maybe you went for a hike. Maybe you did some meditating. I know Allegra and I did some yoga. We've been playing games like Uno and just hanging out and just trying to, have some fun time at home. So I hope you had a good rest and you're ready for this week. It's going to be a good week. It's only 4 days long this week. We have Friday off. I am not going to give you any spelling this week, so you'll have a break from that, which will give you more time to focus on other things that you may need to finish up or, go back and look at things, or just to do the assignments really, really well and put your best effort in this week, because you won't have too many things to focus on with one subject eliminated. All right, you guys ready for Chapter 15? Let's do it. Jose! Anna leaned forward, reaching for him in the blackness, but there was nothing. Right away, she found out why. The conveyor belt dropped away from under her bottom, and she fell. Whoa! Anna landed on something soft. Lucky for her. It was unlucky for Jose. Get your knee out of my stomach, he hissed. Sorry, But Anna's knee was the least of Jose's worries, when Henry came down the chute feet first and landed on both of them. Wow, he said as Anna and Jose tried to catch their breath. That didn't hurt at all. Shh! We don't want him to hear us. Anna crawled out from under Henry, scrambling over the heap of duffel bags that had helped to break their fall, and looked around. They were definitely in the right place. The cavernous room had to be 10 times the size of Anna's school gymnasium at home. It was cool with high ceilings and dim fluorescent light and crammed full of baggage in every size and color. Near the chute, Anna, Henry, and Jose had just flown down, were several more like it, maybe to carry baggage from other airlines. Deeper in the room, bigger pieces of baggage, crates and cases, and cartons were piled along both side walls. The not-so-gigantic pieces, like suitcases, backpacks, and smaller cartons and kids' car seats, lined a conveyor belt that snaked through the center of the room, twisting over on itself and looping around. It climbed hills and plunged down again, a giant roller coaster for suitcases. In the shadowy light, way across the room, the belt split into several different tracks that disappeared into holes in the far wall. The conveyor belt wasn't moving, though, and there wasn't a single baggage worker to be found. Doesn't anybody work here? Henry whispered. Maybe they're all on a break since no flights are leaving, Anna said. She looked around. So now what? These bags must be headed all over the country, all over the world even. We need to find the ones for our flight to Vermont. That's where Hammurabi would be, wouldn't it? And I bet that's where Sinan will have ended up. I wonder... Shh! Henry shoved her head down and pulled a big red duffel bag over the top of her. She started to push it off, but heard noises from the far side of the room, like someone throwing things. Anna wiggled the duffel bag to the side enough so she could see. Someone was indeed throwing suitcases out of the shadows over there. When the person stepped into the light, Anna gasped. It's him, she whispered. Snake Arm sent a set of golf clubs clattering onto the belt, then paused. Anna froze, afraid he'd hurt her, but he never looked back in their direction. He just cursed and lumbered over to the conveyor belt. He ran his hand along the smooth metal rails that kept the luggage on the belt. When he got to a place where the track started to rise toward the ceiling, he hoisted himself up and climbed along the belt on his hands and knees, toward the high ceiling and around a curve, until they couldn't see him anymore. Anna waited to make sure he was gone. Then she pushed the duffel bag off of her face with a grunt. I don't know what someone has packed in this bag, but it stinks to the high heaven. Henry poked at the bag. Hockey gear, maybe. The tag says it's headed to Buffalo. Anna looked, and sure enough, the white loopy sticker the airline had attached to the bag's handle was marked BUF. We need to find the ones marked BTV. That's what my boarding pass called the Burlington airport. She crawled over the heap of suitcases. These are all BUF. Wait, there's a BOS. That must be Boston. Henry made a noise that was halfway between a grunt and a growl. What's wrong with Boston? Anna said. One, it's not BTV, Henry answered. And two, I'm being forced to move there with my dad and his new wife. Oh. Anna wasn't sure what to do or say, so she started calling out letters on tags again. ROC, LAX, another BUF. TPA, ORD, ATL. Henry tossed bag after bag off the heap and sent them clunking onto the cement floor. Excuse me, guys. Anna and Jose had to jump off to the side to avoid a maroon suitcase on wheels that came whooshing down from the baggage chute. Where are the BTV bags? It's like they disappeared. Henry's forehead shone with sweat as he checked the last bag that had been in the pile. Another BUF. Well, when we got here, there were still flights scheduled to leave, Anna said, so our luggage might have gone out by the planes. Her eyes followed the swirling maze of conveyor belts. She counted 4 places where the belts disappeared into the opposite wall behind rubber flaps, just like upstairs. 4 exits to somewhere. We should check the bags on the belt, too. One of those tunnels must lead to the Burlington baggage. A deep metallic thunk made them all jump. There was a rumble creak hum of motors grumbling awake, and conveyor belts all around the room started up again. Don't move, Anna whispered. It might be Snake Arm. They froze. Anna held her breath until she thought she'd explode, but there was no sign of him. No sign of anyone. Maybe they started it up from up there, Jose nodded toward the top of the baggage chute. Looks like more luggage. The baggage that had been frozen in time chugged along past them now in a colorful suitcase parade. Well, this is easier than climbing all over them, Henry said. Spread out, and we can watch for Burlington ones. They stationed themselves at 3 turns on the conveyor belt. Anna would rather have stayed together, but she saw Henry's point. They'd be less likely to miss something this way. She watched the bags pass. Big green suitcase, BUF. Medium red with silver ribbon tied to the handle, BUF. Little princess suitcase, TPA. Big black suitcase with its sticker folded over itself. It passed by before Anna could turn it to see the destination. Probably another BUF. But what if it wasn't? She hoisted herself up onto the belt next to the maroon BOS suitcase with wheels, then climbed over a couple of ORD duffel bags. As soon as she reached the black suitcase, she had to duck and flatten herself against it to avoid clunking her head on a crisscrossing baggage belt that made a sort of bridge over the one she was riding on. She sat up and straightened the sticker. Oh my gosh! BTV, you guys! Over here! She called and looked over her shoulder to where she thought Henry and Jose might be. But she'd taken so many twists and turns through the huge room on the snaking conveyor belt that all she saw were more curves and loops and suitcases. Were there any landmarks in this gigantic room? She turned to face forward again and found herself ascending the section of a belt that led way up by the ceiling. Way up where Snake Arm had gone before. She looked over her shoulder again, but the boys weren't there. She looked back down at the big black suitcase, BTV. This bag was the only thing that could lead them to Sinan. Alone or not, she had to stay with it. That's the end of chapter 15. I had to think again. Let me tell you, it took me 4 takes to make this video. I kept messing up the words. I hope I did a good job. I will see you guys tomorrow for Tuesday's word work and for chapter 16. All right, see you then. Bye.